What's up, everybody? My name's Wade, and this is Bourbon Hall, and this is another Tasting Tuesday. And you have just reached another Tasting Tuesday. And on this Tasting Tuesday, we are going to be trying two different things from the same distiller. First of all, something I just got, Michters Toasted Barrel Finish Rye. And then something I've had for a while, but I haven't tried, Shenks, the 2023 release. Now, both of these are from Michters Distillery. This one is a little bit more limited, but they're both limited editions. That's one of the things that Michters likes to do, is make the things limited. You'll see the standard straight ryes and bourbons. They'll be available about anywhere you want to go, but these are pretty allocated and hard to get. I FOMO'd on this one, sadly, and bought it for a little over $200. About 2 weeks ago, walked into a store, saw it, FOMO'd, sucked. Walked into another store last week, saw it for $140, bought another one. Hopefully it's good. I did it before even trying it. So here's a review of that. Also, we wanted to try something with this. This was actually one of the first reviews or comments on this channel asked me to check it out. So we're going to do that. But first, let's try this one. So the Michters Toasted Barrel Straight Rye, and this is a barrel strength. And this barrel strength came out at 109.6 proof. And so they'll vary a little bit. I read that this year's, the average is right around 108. So this is just a little above the average. What they usually do is take the straight rye whiskey that they have that you can find in almost every store. They'll do that and then put it into a new toasted barrel. And they'll age that for about 24 months, give or take, and then pull it out at barrel proof. So let's try it. It's pretty good cork pop there. So I'm actually quite excited about this. I love ryes, and I actually like a lot of toasted products. I enjoy the Penelope Toasted that I have back there. That's just an MGP that they put in a toasted barrel, but I thought it's pretty tasty for the price. This is going to has to be pretty good to, justify the price. But hopefully we, get surprised here. And hopefully we can find out if it's worth it for your other guys before you go and make the dive for it. So first, swirl the glass. Of course, we just want to get that glass covered so that we can get a decent smell. Once you get a little bit of spice, vanilla, caramel. Smells good. It smells like a lot of the other stuff that I've had that is toasted. So just want to say that this is the first ever toasted barrel product or anything barrel strength that I've got from Michters. So I was really excited about it. And obviously the FOMO got me pretty hard on that one. Is it disappointing that I spent $80 more than I had to on it? I don't know what MSRP is, but the store that I got it for about 140, I feel like they're a little closer to MSRP. Usually they just usually don't get bottles like this. So when I saw this at the store that usually is, gets higher bottles, but they usually mark it up higher. I just didn't think that I would have the opportunity to find another one. So then a week later I found it, and now I'm sitting here hoping that it's really good. You get a little bit of that toasted, that campfire. Oh man. And then you get that wash of like that vanilla cream kind of go through forward. You get a little bit of that, rye funk, that herbaceousness that comes forward. It's delicious. I'm trying to compare that to something else I've had. I don't know if I've had anything quite like that. It's not too hot at 109.6 proof. I've had a lot of stuff that was hotter than that. So this is right in the area where I like to have my bourbons and my ryes at. Pretty easy sipping. You get a little burn Doesn't like, melt your face off. But that's a pretty good tasting product there from Michters. I'm not sure if it's I'm not sure if it's worth. Let's try it again. Never judge anything on the first sip. Yeah, you get that toast. You almost get, that like hint of like when you've been by a campfire or just like by a fire pit, and it's the next day. You grab your clothes out of the hamper or go wash them, and it gets that little bit of smoke. That's kind of what you get, and that kind of goes through the nose for me. A lot of spice. I mean, it's a delicious drink. I think it's very, very good. I don't know if it's worth the price tag of that. Now, on secondary, I saw these anywhere from 300 to 400 bucks. I need to compare that to other ryes to see where it's at. I really like Old Ezra. That's a really good rye as well. It's one of my favorites. If you see some of my hunting videos that are coming out, I run across a few, pick up one. With that said, I'm going to have to give this one a little bit. Is it a buy at 200, 140? With the market, this might hit someone perfect right now. And honestly, I'll say this is my first drink of the night. Sometimes I find that if you have had a warm-up drink, just something that's lighter, that kind of gets the palate going, sometimes you can pull out more stuff. So that might not be a fair review. We might have to go back and do this again. Actually, I'm going to leave a little bit of this. Yeah, that's right. Like I always get like a little bit of a dill or herbaceous like hint from rye. I mean, that's delicious. It is a great drink. But we're going to hold that off, and we're going to crack open that Shenks next and see how that is. Now, Shenks is it's a small batch versus a single barrel. So we're going to put this right here, and I am going to wash my palate off a little bit. I don't know why. I always like mineral water just in general. Kind of, it's flat, kind of takes that taste right out of your mouth. But whatever works for you. So next up, Shenks 2023 release. Now I've had a sample of this, but it was in a blind, and I cannot even recall what it tastes like. Now Shenks, it's a sour mash, and so if you don't know what that means, sour mash pretty much means that they used a little bit of the mash from the last batch, and they put it into the new mash, and that kind of gets the mash going with the yeast, etc. And so sour mash, it's very common. So Shenks, this one is, where's the proof? 91.2 proof, so it's a lot lighter. And so this is it's a small batch. It's through Michters. Yeah. And I've heard that they changed this a little bit. I thought that they might have put a little bit of malt in this year versus some of the past years. I'm not sure about that, so don't quote me on that. But we'll try here. Now, with this being a small batch and 90 proof versus a single barrel and 109 proof, I expect to catch less from here. I'm going to wash my palate off one more time. But you never know. Sometimes there's just amazing stuff. I've seen some reviews out there about the Michters 10-year bourbon. It's like a 90 proofer, and they say it's one of the best bourbons out there right now. I wouldn't know. I've never seen a bottle of it. I've seen the 10-year rye once. So, all right, let's get this stirred up. That's different. Softer nose, for sure. Something in there. I'm not quite sure what that is. Smells really good. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that is definitely a nice, easy drinker. Especially coming after that. It'll be interesting kind of going there and then back. But I think, yeah, that's got a lot of caramel coming through. You know, when you have oak, I really catch a lot of the oak stuff. When something is heavily oaked, sometimes it gets a little tannic for me, and I feel like it gets overly bitter, and it kind of is off profile. This is not there at all. It's pretty delicious. I wonder, it tastes a little bit like there's something in there I really can't bring down. Maybe just a touch of rye. I'll actually have to look that up. Let's look that up right now. Let's see. Unique character of this 2023 offering results from being produced with malted rye in the recipe. Okay, so they added that. French oak. There was a portion of it was aged in special toasted French oak barrels. That's what I was missing. A little bit. So French oak has a little bit more of a tannic, just overall hit to it. I don't think it's very aversive. I think it's pretty solid. And small match, all that means a small batch. All that means is that it's blended. They just blended it together. The architect that you see right up here, that's also it's Penelope. It's in French oak, and that is a lot more French oak forward. A lot of times when something's French oak, if you let it air a little bit, it's really good stuff. But this at the 90, what did I say, 90 proof, 91.2, it doesn't hit too bad. It's pretty good. Now, this bottle I bought at retail at $120. I think that's probably fair. You know, for something like this, it's a great drink. I don't think it's blowing my socks off though. And that's okay. You know, the game with bourbon right now is you're paying a lot for something that you hope is really good, right? You hope it's amazing. And yeah, I think these are adequate. Would I pay 120 for that? Yeah. Would I pay 140 for that versus that? Yeah. I think this is, if I'm had 150 bucks and I had a choice between one bottle, probably that one. But I like rye more. Now this has a little bit of rye to it, but I'm interested to come back to this one after it sat here for a while. And it changed. It always does. Oh, sweeter, almost a, I don't know if campfire's in my brain, but it's like a little marshmallow. Not much. Yep. You pull a little extra out of there. Would I say that I am floored and fallen off? No. But once I revisit it, these were both fresh cracks. And I know that sometimes they say that if you just let it sit and get a little bit of air to it, it can change the bottle slightly. That is conundrum. Between the two Michters products, I think this one wins, but it should. It's a single barrel, you know. But overall, I think both are pretty solid pours. I think what you're looking for in these would be completely different. You know, you have, these are two very different products, which we knew when we were coming in. The biggest issue I would say is the price tag, and especially if they're gouging you. 140, worth the buy. 120, worth the buy. 220 or whatever I bought it for, not worth the buy. I'm just pissed at myself that I did that, but FOMO is real, man. It's terrifying, you know. It's and I know I want to show new bottles for you guys, and I never thought I would see another one, and then the next week I saw one. So who knows? Oh, but yeah, I would say if you like bourbon And if you like rye, you're these. There's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing aversive about it. They're both delicious. I want to go back and hit this Shenks one more time. But hit the like, hit the subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think. Have you tried either one of these? Let me know what your experience is. I'm going to enjoy both of these things, and you should too. This is about enjoying bourbon. We get a little bit snooty sometimes in the bourbon world about things, but to be honest, pretty good. Now, if this was $70 and this was $50, life would be pretty good right now. But with that said, I bring these reviews to you guys so you can make that decision for yourself, and also give you a little feedback of, if you see it for here, maybe hold off on it for a while. Try to get a sample. Try to get a dumb friend that buys it, FOMOs it, and then he's willing to give a sample to you. So one of the great things is we're drinking bourbon. It can't be too bad. And if you can't afford these, just get a good friend that's stupid like me that FOMOs and buys it, because hopefully he's willing to give a pour. If you're my buddy, come over, get a pour from me. Also, if you see something on my bar up here on the shelves that you would like to see a review, I would love to give you a review. My name's Wade. This is Bourbon Hall. Let's drink decent bourbon. Cheers.